Greetings everyone, my name is Sai, and it's Halloween, and you know what that means. Ah, shit. I kinda didn't want to make a Halloween video this year. You see, last year, I made a Halloween-themed video called The Top 5 Scary Things in Non-Horror Games, and, it sucked. Bad. As in, probably one of the worst things I've made in the last 2 years. Oh, it was successful, and a lot of people seem to really like it, but I didn't plan that video very far in advance, and it shows. I basically cooked it up a week before Halloween, just so I could release something Halloween-themed. So all the choices I had are really shitty, and I am not at all happy with it. And that's why we're George Lucasing this shit. So without any further ado, the top 5 scary things in non-horror games. Redux. Let's begin. Resident Evil 4. Back in the day, Resident Evil actually used to be a horror game. You know, until it wasn't anymore. Resident Evil 4 was a huge departure from where the series started, disregarding almost the entire plot up to that point in order to shake up the franchise a bit and tell an awesome action-adventure story about rescuing the president's daughter. Resident Evil 4 has camp practically pouring from every hole, which is just one of the reasons I love it so much. But there's one specific part of the game that actually does live up to the franchise's horror roots: the Regenerators. So, when you first encounter one, it looks like it's lying dead on an operating table. Then you go across the hallway, and it starts coming for you, making this horrible noise. And I mean, every enemy in this game is fucked up in some way or another, but the scariest thing about them is that they can't die. Well, they can, but it takes a weapon you only get after fighting your way through like 5 of them. And what makes them even creepier is even if you do shoot off all their limbs, Dead Space style, they can still flop towards you, and if you let them get close, this happens. There's just something inherently terrifying about a monster that wants nothing more than to kill you as violently as possible, and can't even be stopped even if it's missing its arms and legs. He'll still be coming for you even after all that, and that scares the shit out of me. Yep, Shadow Mario is one of the 2 things I put on the last list that I think should still be here. And for the record, I got a lot of shit for putting Graffitio on that last list. Stuff like, "Wow, you fag, Shadow Mario isn't scary, go kill yourself," among many other delightful things I get to read in my comment section on a daily basis. And yeah, I can get how it doesn't scare you now, and it doesn't scare me now either, but back when I was like 7, hell yes he was scary. I think it's mainly the eyes that do it. To take out the most expressive part of the face and replace it with evil red light makes anything horrifying. Zombies, dogs, even bunnies. There's also that weird skin texture that makes him look like a T-1000. Of course, he is later revealed to be Baby Bowser and becomes significantly less frightening then, but before that, I don't care what you guys say, I think this fear was very well rationalized. What about Omega Flowey? I hadn't played Undertale when I made that video. For the love of God, please shut up! Spoilers for Undertale. You know, I complain about the incessant comments, and they are incessant for the record, but they're not wrong. I mean, sure, Undertale does have its fair share of fucked up moments, but most of them have been towards the beginning, which was just long enough to allow you to forget that Undertale wasn't only a comedy game. And besides, you had just dealt with Omega Flowey of all things, who, yeah, is weird definitely, but certainly not scary. I mean, the game can't have any more curveballs to throw at you after that, right? Ha ha, ha ha, ha. My poor, naive past self. For I had yet to experience the true lab. For the record, I think Toby Fox handled Alphys's arc brilliantly. You start off the game, and she seems like the stereotypical nerdy antisocial scientist, but then you find out her dark secret. Her experiments with determination have accidentally melted several monsters together into amalgamates, and they're all being hidden inside the true lab. Now, for the record, the build up to this discovery is phenomenal. You walk into Alphys's lab, and although it's got the same bright color scheme as always, the upbeat music is gone, replaced by a low-pitched machine humming. Then you ride the elevator down and find the true lab, which is dark, depressing, and cold. And to get to Alphys, you have to battle all the amalgamates, each of which have their own fucked up battle. I think my personal favorite of these is End the Jenny, just because I really love the way all the dogs are hidden inside the negative space of his design. And then you finally meet up with Alphys and discover that she was thinking about committing suicide, and what the hell happened to this game? I just want to go back to Snowdin and play with all the funny skeletons again. And this is the other thing that I'm carrying over from the main list, because even though I got made fun of for it, I don't give two shits. The Creeper from Minecraft. After the first few nights, Minecraft is an extremely peaceful game 90% of the time. And I'll give you, when you see a creeper coming, it's not a big deal. But imagine the situation. You just struck diamonds and are busy collecting them, when from out of nowhere behind you, you hear... Your heart jumps, and you have just enough time to think, fuck, before exploding and losing everything you had in the lava. Seriously, creepers are the worst. Mass Effect 2. By far the best game in the entire series, and I mean that about almost everything. It had the best storyline, best new characters and development for old characters, and by far the best final level and ending. And a lot of people seem to agree that it also had the best DLC. And I agree, the Dragon Age armor was awesome. Now, what they actually mean is that Kasumi is an awesome new character, which she is, and the mission packs, Shadow Broker, Overlord, and The Arrival were all great. And while I'd agree that Shadow Broker and The Arrival were fun as hell, I have a deep-seated hatred for the Overlord DLC specifically, because there's one part of it that scares the shit out of me. So you're going along, shooting some Geth, driving around a tank, being the savior of the entire universe, all that stuff, while trying to stop an evil AI who's taken over a base. But then you get to the central chamber and discover it wasn't actually an AI. It was the lead researcher's autistic brother, David. And what the fuck? What? What the fuck, BioWare? Okay, the whole reason for this is that he's supposed to be mentally plugged into the Geth consensus, but why like this? I mean, if you showed him lying down in like a cryosleep pod with like a fancy sci-fi helmet on, I would have bought that. What kind of drug-fueled David Lynch nightmare inspired this artistic choice? I've got no clue, but yeah. Happy Halloween, everyone, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like it, I'd ask you to go check out my Patreon. That Patreon helps me pay my bills and ensures I don't have to lick discarded Halloween candy wrappers for sustenance. So go check it out at patreon.com/Psy and see if anything I have to offer catches your eye. Also, I've got a vlog channel called Psy Live where I post hours of procrastination fuel, link below. And finally, just want to give a very special thank you to my $10 plus Patreon patrons: Matt Flowers, Isaiah Christo, Aaron Graff, Sawsbucky, Krista, Killy, and Baster for helping to support my endeavors. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.